argument that we can understand. And now I'd like to represent my friend Mr. Kelly from Pennsylvania and hear what he has to say on this interesting new challenge the Obama administration has given us.
And I thank the gentleman from Texas for yielding. You know, I come from a family that in 1953 started in the automobile business. My father came from being a parts picker for General Motors in a warehouse, surviving World War II, and then coming back home and starting his own dealership in 1953. So not only can I talk the talk, I've actually walked the walk. And when we sit back and we see what this administration is doing, while they say on one side they're very concerned with jobs and they're very concerned with the recovery of the automobile industry, they propose legislation that will take 7 million buyers out of the market. That is a staggering number of cars that we will not be able to build. If we can't build them, we don't need folks there in the factories. We don't want to mess with the fragile recovery that the automobile industry has right now. And again, as I said, having walked that walk and understanding the cost of these vehicles as they go up, it is a terrible thing that this administration is considering. Now, it does not surprise me, because we are talking about people who have never in their life actually had their own skin in the game. So when they talk about these measures that they're taking, when they talk about all these well-intentioned ideas, they forget that the ultimate sacrifice made is by the buyers, by the American consumer. We are going to raise the average cost of these vehicles by $3,200. As I said earlier, 7 million prospective buyers will not be in the market. We have jumped the standards that we had by 3 years. Now, I was there in the early 70s when the CAFE standards came into existence. The corporate average fuel economy had nothing to do with green energy, had nothing to do with a footprint, a carbon footprint. What it had to do was our reliance on foreign oil. We are making great strides in that effect. Now, I do know that my friends in the automobile manufacturing business have agreed to these new standards. I also know that there's so many resets in this new standard that they opted to go ahead along with this administration's directions and bought into this idea, knowing that each electric car that they built, which is subsidized by $7,500 in taxpayer funds, hard-working American families that pay their taxes, will not have the same benefit. The people buying these cars, the electric cars, the metrics of that is $175,000. That's their average income. So who are we appealing to? Now, we give the industry a double count on those. That's how they get to the 54.5 miles per gallon. And they understand with the resets that it's much easier to go along with this administration than to try to fight them up front. But I will tell you that my friends in the automobile dealer business, the folks that go to work every day, that have to put bread on the table, and in my dealership there's 110 folks that come in there every day to solve the needs, the transportation needs of the people in our community. Now, the other side of this is safety. When my wife and my 4 children get in their cars, and keep in mind there's 5 grandchildren involved now, we're going to start asking those folks to start driving lighter cars. Cars that will not be as safe as the cars we have on the road right now. And why? Because we are catering to an administration. We're catering to an administration that puts their agenda ahead of the American public safety. So I appreciate what the gentleman from Texas is doing. I understand the unintended consequences of this. And it's time for us to blow the whistle on an administration that refuses to acquiesce to what the public needs and continues to drive their own agenda. So I appreciate what you've done, and I yield back my time, sir.